Hey everybody, I'm TJ DeSantis along with Elias Theodorou and my color commentator Julie Kedzie. We are in Salt Lake City as we get ready for Invicta FC 28. It is this Saturday night on UFC Fight Pass. For the first time in nearly 2 years, we crown a strawweight champion in our main event as Mizuki takes on Virna Jandiroba. Elias, this is your first Invicta FC as our ring card boy, but we're going to make you use that fight brain of yours.
There you go.
What do you think about this main event with Mizuki and Virna Jandiroba?
Great fight, obviously. I think the really exciting part is with Mizuki, she has a lot of actual experience in regards to who she's fought, but obviously her competitor is undefeated, and that's an intangible thing. So a great fight, and excited to see who gets crowned champ.
Yeah, the winner will walk out our 5th ever strawweight champion. Julie, it's been a little while since we've seen Mizuki. The last time we saw Virna Jandiroba in her Invicta FC debut, it was one-way traffic against Amy Montenegro. Because of that, I really don't know what to even think about this fight. Both women are very talented, but we've only seen that offensive side of Virna Jandiroba.
That's very true, and even though her performance was flawless, I mean, what do? Go up to somebody, take him down, punch him a couple times in the face, and then, you get the submission. It's a beautiful execution. And we've seen Mizuki in a couple of wars in this organization. But I will say this, TJ, I love that you said intangible, because the intangible thing also that's going on here for both fighters is neither one has anything to lose here. Both of them have their eyes on that Invicta FC belt, but what's going on for them is that Mizuki has been out of action for 1.5 years. She hasn't seen the Invicta cage in a while, and she's raring to go, but a loss at a title fight on last minute, I mean, that's not really something you can count against somebody. Jandiroba only had 1 performance with us. If this is the first loss of her career, and I know we don't want to look at fights in terms of losses, but if this is the first loss of her career in a title fight in Invicta FC at 115, one of the best weight classes, I mean, both ladies' stocks are going to go up.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point. The upside for both fighters in this contest is big. The winner will walk out the Invicta FC champion, and the loser will really walk into a division still positioned quite well if they can get another win to be right back in the title picture. In our co-main event, Deanna Bennett returns to Invicta FC. She takes on Karina Rodriguez. Deanna Bennett, fresh off a stint on The Ultimate Fighter. Elias, I got to believe that Deanna Bennett is going to be a different fighter from the last time we saw her at Invicta, just from the knowledge that she's picked up training in the Tough House and having that experience under her belt.
Yeah, it's a great experience to be in Tough House. Obviously, there's an opportunity to grow amongst your peers, and whether you win or lose, you have to go back to the drawing board, and we expect her to do just that tomorrow.
Bennett, of course, former Invicta FC title challenger. That was at 115 pounds. She is back tonight, or back on Saturday night, rather, at 125 pounds. Standing in her way is a fighter that was billed as Irene Aldana and Alexa Grasso's training partner, but she has proven to find Invicta FC success of her own. Julie, Karina Rodriguez is that typical Lobo-trained fighter, very good on the feet, and also has a ground game that we haven't seen on display quite yet in the Invicta FC cage, but training with the likes of Alexa Grasso, who is a striker by trade, but has also really mixed things up on the floor and done so nicely. You know that Rodriguez has some tricks of her own if the fight hits the floor.
She definitely has some tricks of her own, and we can never discount Deanna Bennett's excellent wrestling. But I will say this, because I love those storylines. We do have this interesting reversal of one fighter coming to, kind of redeem herself, come back up in the ranks and see what she can do in Bennett. And then we have Rodriguez, who is an up-and-coming star, even though she's been fighting for a while. She actually a little bit reminds me of a young Deanna Bennett. Not young in age, but I mean young in the organization. So I think it's kind of fun to see these patterns repeat, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Bennett, now training on the East Coast, returns home to her old stomping grounds of Utah, so friends and family going to be inside Union Event Center. A lot of other action to keep your eye on. Obviously, strawweight's main event this card, but some other strawweight action to pay attention to is a really fun fight between Callie Pop-Tart Robbins. She returns to Invicta FC, and I'm excited to see what she can do. Her last fight, Elias, was really, really fantastic stuff.
No, that's exactly right. And, it's an opportunity once again to go back to the drawing board when you've had this opportunity to get there's a lot of variables in fighting. So to take an opportunity and finish, you get to build off that, and that's what she gets to do tomorrow. Yeah,
Callie Robbins has finished all of her fights, but she has a pretty tough draw ahead of her. That is Pearl Gonzalez, the UFC veteran. She is set to make her Invicta FC debut, and Pearl is on a mission. She wants to reestablish herself. When I talked to her yesterday, she had talked about trying trying to have that same sort of run that Angela Hill had here in Invicta FC. And, that was, quite a run by Angie, who came in, was undefeated, won a title, and then went right back to the octagon. Pearl wants to do the exact same thing.
And I can actually totally see that happening in Pearl Gonzalez. I have a lot of confidence in her as a fighter, but of course, Pop-Tart, man, she pops up with those surprises. At least she did in her last fight. Probably not a surprise for her with the amount of submission training she does, but as commentators, it's fun to see those fast submissions. I am very excited to see what happens in this fight. I think it's, I wouldn't call this a sleeper fight because everybody knows how exciting it's going to be, but I think it's the one where you guys better kind of take notice, sit up when this one's on, turn the volume up, and keep watching.
Now, Pearl said this was a dream come true for her as well. She's a big fan of the organization here at Invicta and is very proud to be on this roster. Speaking of UFC veterans, Milana Dudaeva is back. She was originally scheduled to take on Mizuki at a 115-pound contest. Instead, she's back at flyweight, and she takes on another UFC veteran in Christina Marks. This is going to be a fun fight. Milana Dudaeva thinks that she can showcase her skills and really do whatever she wants to in the cage. It's one thing to say that, it's another thing to actually do it, but she's supremely confident.
Yeah, no, the importance is game day. And both are, like you mentioned, veterans in their own right and have the opportunity to perform. And it's really who wants to want it more on game day.
Dudaeva has an extensive grappling background. Christina Marks, very much a striker. We can talk all day about striker versus grappler, but they both are truly mixed martial artists.
They are, and even though Dudaeva lost her last fight against Porto, man, what a performance in that first round. She actually put Porto in quite a bit of danger. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens, and the fact that she always brings that kind of fire to the cage, and she's also bringing kind of a trash talking game this time around is pretty interesting. And she has no easy task with Christina Marks. Christina Marks may have a little bit of a lopsided record, but she has fought some of the best in the sport, and there's nothing like experience. There's nothing like what makes you build up after that sort of veteran experience.
These are just some of the fights you got to keep your eyes on. Again, it is this Saturday night, Union Event Center right here in Salt Lake City. Tickets are available at Ticketfly, but you can watch live and free, all part of your UFC Fight Pass subscription. For Elias Theodoro, Julie Kedzie, I'm TJ DeSantis. We'll see you this Saturday night.